welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about minimalism because let's be real, that's kind of what my whole shtick is. If you're new to this channel, I do talk a lot about minimalism, but my channel is kind of centered around living your life your way, including leaving your phone on loud when you're trying to do an intro. Sorry about it, it's kind of who I am, it's a bit chaotic. Welcome to the team. Now that I have turned that onto silent, let's get cracking. So this video, I wanted to talk about stuff that as a minimalist, I actually own a lot of. Because I get the feeling that you've probably seen a ton of videos about minimalism that are like, I own only one chair and one pan and one, I don't know, jacket, and I get through life with just those things. So I do class myself as a minimalist, however, I am not an extreme minimalist. Minimalism to me is living with what you need, with what things you require for the life that you live. It's not necessarily about living life by a set of rules that are very prescriptive. It's about living life according to you. So all of that is kind of my long-winded way of saying my house, though minimal, is not extreme. I do have a lot of things in certain categories that I value. So I wanted to show off a couple of things that I have a bunch of. Number one, we are starting with something in pretty plain view, and that is artwork. So there is a bunch behind me. There's also kind of like a bunch over here. So I have a lot of artwork because I am an artist, I am a creative person, and if I have a space that is entirely blank walls, kind of drives me mental. Like I can't focus in a space that is too blank. White walled spaces just kind of feel sterile to me, and I want my home to feel homey. So artwork. A lot of the artwork that I choose does have sentimental reasons, and some of them, of course, like Alex's Army of Darkness poster, are just rad. So a lot of the artwork in our house have been gifts or have been painted by people that we know or have been while we're on holidays, we got something from a local artist. They're usually things that do mean a fair bit to us. But we also have lots of we have knick-knacky things. There's a bunch of little pop culture references in our design that we also are going to keep, and that's okay. Moving on from that section, let's just talk about a couple of things that I, in my style, have a lot of. The first one is one that I am sure all of you by now, if you aren't new to the channel, know, and that is my earring collection. I don't really wear jewelry apart from my wedding rings and this watch. I don't wear necklaces, I don't wear any other rings, I don't wear bracelets, but big, dangly, chunky earrings, they are my favorite. So I have a decent collection of those. In fact, there's something that is more likely for me to go out and purchase more of because it brings me so much joy. I love my earring collection. So this is something that adds value to my life. Most minimalists would be like, I own one pair of silver studs and that is all I require. That's not me, it's not my style. So I have a lot of crazy eclectic earrings, and that's okay. I'm still a minimalist even though this particular category is not minimal for me. On that similar kind of note, next on the list is jumpers. If you have watched any of my capsule wardrobe videos, you'll know that I adore jumpers. And trying to cull my jumpers is really difficult for me. This is another item that if I see a big, huge, oversized, usually men's jumper, I'll be like, ooh, look how cozy and comfortable that looks, I must have it. I in fact inherited a few more jumpers recently, so I probably need to go through my collection and get rid of some because I don't need this many. Even looking at my wardrobe, my jumpers section is quite thick compared to even t-shirts, and it should probably be the other way around. Next, but it is actually something I am looking at decluttering soon, at least portions of it, is my makeup collection. So I used to be obsessed with makeup. I really loved it, and then when 2020 hit, I kind of took a step back from doing makeup that much because I was inside and I didn't really feel the need to put any on because it's just me, my husband, and my dog, so why? And now I'm very comfortable with the way my face is. This is what it looks like. This is makeup free. This is just how it goes. But because I am also a circus performer in part of my life, then I do need to keep a decent collection of makeup for gigs. So I'm gonna go through my collection soon and declutter, but makeup's still something that I'm going to end up owning a fair bit of. I've seen so many minimalists that are like, I have one blush, one mascara, one lipstick, done. But unfortunately, when you're a performer, You can't really do that, especially in circus. Circus has very big, intense makeup, so even just having a huge colored palette, having multiple shades of lipstick, having multiple kinds of foundation, because sometimes you need it to be really thick for stage lighting, sometimes you don't. So I actually have a really extensive makeup collection, and though some will go, a lot of it's probably gonna stay. Changing genres a little bit again, another thing that I own a lot of, and in fact I'm willing to say that Alex and I both own a lot of, is board games. We are board games people. We love board games. Board games bring us so much joy because we are nerdy, and that's okay. Exhibit all of this wall. So if you have seen our house tour video, which I'll put here for you, you will know that a large portion of our storage has actually gone to board games, and we're thinking of changing over that storage soon so we can add more. My husband is also starting to look into building board games. I'll show you a little sneak peek of what he's working on here. So having a large stock of board games to investigate, to play through, to think about, have fun with is also part of what we do. The same way I have a lot of filming equipment for a minimalist because I film this for you, hello. Then Alex, for part of his job, does board games, therefore owning a lot of that source material, important. And also it's fun, so why not? Next, let's talk about our furniture for a little minute. For minimalists, and for a very small space, we have a lot of chairs. So we have stools, we have couches, we have an armchair, we have chairs hidden underneath things that are foldable chairs. We have office chairs. We also have these little Hessian covered stools outside. We have our outside chairs. And that's because Alex and I really like to invite people over, and we want to make sure that people always have enough sitting area. So even though our house might be little, we like being able to then pull all of the chairs that are hidden around the place down into the courtyard and have people over. So this is something that if you're a minimalist who doesn't like entertaining, you probably don't have that. You might have one couch and one armchair and that's it, and that's fine. But that's just not the life we lead. So because we love to entertain guests, it's a requirement for the life that we lead. Next is that for minimalists, we have a lot of TVs. So I'm not counting our laptop, we have one each. But our house literally has 4 rooms. It has bedroom, office, main space, bathroom. And 2 of those rooms have TVs. So this is because Alex has a racing rig, so he has kind of like a gaming station. So he has his own TV set up for that. We discovered when we were in our old house that when Alex was playing games, that meant that I couldn't watch Netflix, and games is something he gets so much value out of. So now he has a gaming PC hooked up to that TV, and he also has a PlayStation 5, he's got his racing chair, and then we can both do our like detoxing, chill out time at the same time. So long story short, we have 2 TVs, and I'm okay with it. Also for a minimalist, I have a bunch of plants. I love plants. When I was looking into what are the ways I can better my sleep health, and because Alex also kind of has like anxiety driven insomnia, to try and also help him have a more calm space, one of the big things I found was nature. Bring more plants in. So we have a lot of plants. I don't notice them so much anymore, so I'm like, we don't really have that many. In this room, but granted this room has the most plants, there's probably about 15. 18. There are 18. So yeah, 19. I guess that I do have a lot of plants in this space, but plants are great. I would thoroughly recommend that every house have at least a plant. When I was younger, I was like, why? Plants are dumb. And now that I'm a bit older, I'm like, oh my god, plants are the best. For some unknown reason, plants just make you go, oh, and feel just a little bit more zen, even if nothing else in your space is zen. And like I said, all of the stuff that you should have in your life as a minimalist should be stuff that you need for your life. And I really want to emphasize those 2 things, need and you. It shouldn't be things that people assume you need. It shouldn't be things that the world has told you you need. If it doesn't suit you, if it's not something you feel you need, don't have it. But if it is, it's totally okay to call yourself a minimalist and then in some categories have a bunch of stuff. Minimalism is just talking about what you require for your ideal life. So if you're after any more tips on minimalism or ways that you can declutter things or things that you actually value, then there's plenty of it on my channel. I'll link some playlists for you here and in the description box below. Thank you so much for coming to hang out, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.